eksistensya as in employment, security para sa satuyang mga katugangan na PWD o ang persons with disability. As in ang solo parents, lalong-lalo na tapasado na ang Solo Parents Act. Tigsurat kang kapwa certified kakamping, Senator Risa Hontiveros. Ibahan asin tabangan po nindo ako. Tangarig irealisar iniyong mga pangiturugan, tangarig sa tuya pang mas paurugon, ang interes asin simbagon, ang mga pangangaipuhan kang sa tuyang mga syudadanang. Sa liwat po, dai maghadit, udina si Kapdodit. Salamat po.
Thank you, Councilor Antonio V. Beltran. Anybody else who'd like to avail of the privileged time? None? Okay. Next item.
Reading and approval of the order of business.
Councilor Salvador del Castillo, Chair
Madam
of the
Chair,
Committee on Rules.
before the approval of the order of business, I manifest that we first confirm the new Liga President of the City of Naga. The documents was already submitted to us, so I move that we confirm Liga President Corazon Magat Piñaflor as the new Liga President of the City of Naga.
Any second? Okay, thank you, Honorable
So,
del
may we
Castillo.
invite the Honorable
May
Piñaflor
we
to
request Punong
take the
Barangay and now Liga President and ex-officio member of the 14th Sangguniang Panlungsod to take her seat. Welcome, Honorable Corazon Peñaflor, to the session.
So,
And congratulations. We like to acknowledge the presence of the City Administrator, Honorable Elmer Baldemoro, PJ Barosa, Attorney Barosa, and Attorney Orvina, and members of the media. Next item.
Madam Chair, for our calendar of business, this representation deemed it wise that we first tackle the internal rules of procedure of the 14th Sangguniang Panlungsod, and after that, there are items that we have to act in today's regular session. So with that, Madam Chair, if there are no more comments and changes in the internal rules of procedure of the 14th Sangguniang Panlungsod, I move that we pass a resolution approving the internal rules of procedure of the 14th Sangguniang Panlungsod.
Any second? Approve. So we approve the rules and procedures of the 14th Sangguniang Panlungsod.
And with that, Madam Chair, I move that we include in today's calendar of business the following matters. First, the confirmation of the appointment of the new city administrator. The former Councilor Elmer Baldemoro, and the appointment of the new city legal officer in the person of Attorney MacGyver Urbina as item number 2 rather, of the special business order. And item number 2, Madam Chair, is the request of the City Mayor for the passage of a resolution authorizing certain city officials to sign for and in behalf of the City Government of Naga concerning withdrawals, endorsement of, negotiation of checks and account with existing depository bank of the City Government of Naga. And under unfinished business, Madam Chair, the letter coming from the city legal officer with regards to the property to be purchased by the City Government of Naga. And item number 2 of the unfinished business, the letter coming from the City Planning and Development Office regarding their report together with the City Engineer's Office on the property of a certain Ujamat located at Barangay Panikwaso. And item number 3 of unfinished business, the letter coming from the City Mayor requesting for an authority for him to enter into an agreement, a negotiation and agreement with regard to the proposed waste-to-energy facility in the city of Naga. Under new business, the letter coming from Ms. Galgal regarding the recommendation to create a farmers food terminal at the third floor of the Naga City People's Mall. Item number 2 is the letter coming from the city mayor requesting for an authority to charge against the current appropriation the amount of 475,000 pesos to cover previous year's obligation. And item number 3 of the new business, the letter coming from the city mayor requesting for an enactment of an ordinance to provide corresponding fees for the use of the Santa Cruz Evacuation Center or Santa Cruz Event Center. And item number 4 of new business, the letter coming from Mr. John Gumabon with regards to a zero waste processing plant. And item number 5, Madam Chair, under new business, the letter coming from Mr. Mendez, Pio Samonte, and Sonny Lim with regard to the southbound terminal. Item number 6 of the new business is the letter addressed to the Honorable Joselito del Rosario through the Honorable Perez, coming from Mr. Gerald Silo, requesting for a tri-mobile franchise. Under other matters, a copy of Memorandum Circular number 2022-085 coming from the DILG. Item number 2 is the budget review, or the annual audit report rather, coming from the Commission on Audit. And item number 3 is a copy of Memorandum Circular number 2022-083 coming from the Department of Interior and Local Government. And item number 4 under other matters, the letter coming from the Acting General Manager of the MNWD with regards to the fees imposed by that entity on subdivision. And item number 5 is the letter coming from the Department of Budget and Management, Regional Office number 5, regarding the review of our 2022 annual budget. And last item, Madam Chair, is the letter coming from the Office of the President through the Deputy Executive Secretary with regard to our request for a proclamation proclaiming Naga City as a highly urbanized city. With those matters, Madam Chair, I move for the approval of the calendar of business.
Any second? Inclusion, Honorable Del Rosario.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. May I ask the committee, Chair of the Committee on Rules, if he had received a copy of my proposed ordinance on underground cabling. It can be treated under new business or unfinished business.
Under new business,
The new business.
anyway, it's for referral.
It will be referred, yes, yes.
Item
the
number
appropriate
7.
So item number 7 of the new business, the proposed ordinance on underground cabling. I am repiling it for the 14th Sangguniang Panlungsod consideration. Another, Madam Chair, thank you, Dr. Rodel Castillo, sir. Another, Madam Chair, for the information of everyone, we have just approved the rules of procedures of the 14th Sangguniang Panlungsod. This was a carryover act of this body from the 13th. We enhanced the rules, we make it attuned to the needs of the times, and we created additional 2 committees within the 14th Sangguniang Panlungsod. And these committees will be highlighted when the necessary referrals will be made. One committee on information technology, and the other is the committee on interagency committee.
Interagency.
Okay, so I think the public deserves to be informed of the highlights as well as the importance of approving the internal rules of procedure. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Del Rosario. Honorable Kylie Trifulca.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. I would also like to seek for reconsideration in the order of business. I have filed yesterday a resolution urging the DILG, DBM, and the COMELEC, and also the NYC to expedite the necessary IRR of RA 11768. And if I may ask this to be included in a special business of order due to the urgency of the matter, Madam Chair. If the chairperson will
Chair.
consider.
Honorable Del Castillo.
Rules of procedure, Madam Chair. All matters that should be included under SPO should be
From the
received on or before the end of office hours of Friday, prior to the holding of the regular session. So I am sticking to that rules as approved by this body. It should have been submitted to the Secretariat last Friday.
Honorable Trifulca.
I understand, Madam Chair, but considering the matter po na we still don't have the IRR po of the said law, kasi there's a period po and still there isn't guidelines being sent to us po. That's why yesterday po I decided to pass this resolution, Madam Chair. That's why it's only yesterday po.
Honorable Del Castillo. As
First
stated.
query, when was the IRR approved by the approving body?
Okay. And in the law, Madam Chair, it will take effect 15 days after the publication in the official gazette or any newspaper in circulation. And the law is given 60 days po to release the IRR po. Pero it's almost nearing the period, the lapse of the, and it will almost lapse, Madam Chair.
So,
July, this July po, July 18. The law was signed by the President May 18, 2022.
We have next session. The expiration will be on July 18.
July 18.
July 18, that's Monday.
No.
And we have a session on
May
that.
18, May 18, I think, May 18. Was,
May 18 or July 18? 60 days, May 18 na approve. So 60 days, July 18.
July 18. Today pa siya.
Oh, sige. Perhaps you can pass it in next session.
Today pa siya, kuya.
Honorable Trifulca.
The tenor of the resolution, Madam Chair, is to expedite po the release of the IRR. And I think it's necessary to pass this resolution now, and we should not wait for the period po to comes July 18, 2022.
And the chair of the Committee on Rules.
Under our rules, Madam Chair, there are two exceptions wherein we will include a matter in the calendar of business. First, the matter is certified urgent by the mayor. And second, if by two-thirds vote of the Sangguniang Panlungsod, it will vote to include that item under in the calendar of business. So we fall under item number 2.
Item number 2. So, Honorable Del Castillo.
Secretariat, if this agenda was received last Friday, para maaraman ta kung si Saya nagsasabing totoo. Because I wondering where are so many agenda this morning. Ang aram ko sa internal rules procedure lang kita. Tapos ngunyan kung mga nag-arabot ng mga agenda. Pero ang sabi kan sa tuyang Committee on Rules, dapat ang agenda na-receive last Friday. Oh, now, who is telling the truth?
Madam Chair, all those included in the calendar of business was received last Friday.
Except
That's the
for
reason
the
why it was
proposal.
included in today's regular session. And
Except-
that's the reason also why I'm asking the Honorable Tripolca of the urgency of the matter.
Honorable Tripulca.
Yes, Madam Chair, for clarification po. This was received yesterday, and as I have explained earlier, I wasn't able to pass this last Friday because I'm still waiting for the IRR, but since there's still no IRR that has come to our notice, I'm passing this resolution and seeking for the reconsideration of the chairperson on rules to include this po due to the urgency of the matter still, and I think we should not wait until July 18 po, or a few days before July 18.
I cannot, by myself, Madam Chair.
As
can
stated
say
by
that
that
it will
committee
be-
on
it is
rules,
up
there are
to
only
the
two.
Sangguniang
Oo.
If it will be approved by a vote of 2/3, then it will be included.
If I may move, Madam Chair, for the second consideration.
That we consider this by a vote of the 2/3. Okay, Honorable Vidal Castillo.
Not only the concern of agenda of Kagawad Committee, but all the agenda that we heard this morning, Madam Chair. Kung pinag-surpo kami mga agenda, unang bagat, ang ito yung first session, dapat magsugid sa internal rules of procedure. There are urgent matters na pwede tayong consider, like the confirmation of these two attorneys. Okay lang yan, pero mga agenda na ngunyan lang naalaman, pero mapura makita ngayon sa dapat magpumpila sa tama. Because we have a new chairman of the Committee on Rules. Una ko, pakakain na sa tuyang rules. Pakakain na.
Okay, Honorable Del Castillo.
It is in accordance with our rules, Madam. That's why the first item in our agenda, if you will notice, it is the approval of the internal rules of procedure, which will govern the business of the 14th Sangguniang Panlungsod. Those inclusion was matters which was included was already received last Friday, but there are urgent matters which was received today, such as the
Confirmation.
including the document submitted by the Honorable Piñaflor. That was already submitted today, but it should be acted upon by this body. Also, the request for confirmation of the appointment of the city administrator and the city legal officer. It was
Only to
marked as
receive.
urgent by the city mayor, so it should be included. All those matters was a referral to to the committees of the Sangguniang Panlungsod. So we will just be dealing with the matters under SBO in today's regular session.
And all other matters will be
All
under
matters
new
will be a
business.
referral to the
To referral to the committees.
Yeah. That's why we can still study all those matters before it will be taken in the plenary.
Thank you, Honorable Del Castillo. Honorable Tripulca.
I truly understand, Madam Chair, but I would insist, because if we will, I will pass this po, or we will include this in the agenda in next week's regular session. I fear that there will only be 3 working days approximately left before po the said period, and then it will the resolution, the pleasure of the resolution will already lose its agenda of expediting po the release of the IRR.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Tripulca and Honorable Del Castillo. Honorable Del Rosario.
The appeal of Councilor Tripolca is addressed to the Chair of the Committee on Rules. The time is of the essence. Yung nahiling kong tenor kang resolution. So kung di naman kita kayo po magbotohan, it's up to the Chair of the Committee on Rules to accept it or deny it. But Councilor Tripulca is justifying that really it's time of the essence.
But the chair of the committee rules stands on his ground that there are only two factors
Okay. Sige.
to include for the urgency of the matter. Honorable Perez, you were raising your hand.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I can understand the noble intentions of the new chairman of the Committee on Rules, but I'm wondering, ngunyan tapik adaptar ini yung resolution approving and adopting the rules and procedures of the 14th Sangguniang Panlungsod of Naga. Does it mean that all the provisions, all the rules contained
Will
here
stand.
takes effect today?
Yes, takes effective today.
Yes, upon approval of this body, Madam Chair,
Yeah, but-
that internal rules will govern the business of the 14th Sangguniang Panlungsod. We have already conducted 2 rounds of meeting concerning that internal rule. And the last time yesterday, we agreed that it will be the final rules that will govern the business of the 14th Sangguniang Panlungsod.
In that case, Madam Chair, I would go with the spirit of this resolution. And in order to accommodate the urgency of the request being made by Councilor Tripulca, pwede siguro kitang mag-resort duman sa second option,
The votation.
that she would seek a 2/3 vote from the members of this body so that this body would decide whether to grant or not the request of Councilor Tripulca without violating our rules on our first day of this 14th Sangguniang Panlungsod session.
Thank you, Honorable Perez, but the Honorable Del Rosario is also appealing to the Committee on Rules that instead of going into votation, the Committee on Rules can reconsider. So the Committee on Rules, we go to the second options, to the votation.
No,
Honorable.
Madam Chair, as I've mentioned earlier and reiterated by the Honorable Perez, pwede tang may include in today's calendar of business by a vote of 2/3 of all the members.
So there's a motion of the Honorable Tripulca that okay, Honorable Ranyola.
Go on voting for this, if it will be included or not.
So we go on votation. Who are in favor of including the motion of the Honorable Tripulca that this be taken up in today's session? Please raise your right
2,
hand.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay, so majority of the vote. So, Honorable Tripulca. Item
So it will be
number,
included, Madam Chair, under
Item number-
special business or order.
item number 5. Item number 5. Okay, next item. Ay, Honorable Vidal.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just for a clarification, Madam Chair. There are agenda na mayo man sa satuyang agenda, pero pag certify kang mayor na urgent,
Pwedeng ibali.
pwedeng iba. Pero during our last sanggunian, may nagsicertify naman na mayor, baka man si mayor nakapirma. Kaya maaraman tango niya kung perang mayor rin sa siyudad ng Naga ngunyan.
We have
Hindi kita
made
maribong.
Okay.
O, nilsun negasyon ng mayor Ligdeyo. Tanganing for clarification ng Madam Chair.
Miski palan perma kang city administrator.
Ay, yan ang
pwede.
dapat kang iklaro. Burutuan tagaray. Na kung pwede ang Mayor Elmer Baldimoro, kung pwede, dapat klarado yan sa tuya.
Honorable Del Castillo.
We have only one mayor, Madam Chair. But if the city administrator was authorized by the mayor to sign for in his behalf, it can be accommodated.
Kakagan lang 4.
Yeah. It should be signed. Kung bako si mayor mapirma, Madam Chair, dapat may authority si mapirma in behalf of the mayor.
Okay, so that is clear now. Okay,
Yeah.
clear na tabi, Honorable Vidal.
Kaya puwan naman authority. Nadam ko authority mo na bago mapirma, ano mo yun?
Okay,
The authority
Thank you,
being
Madam Chair.
mentioned, Madam Chair, can be oral or written.
Alright. Thank you, Honorable Del Castillo. So next item.
Dapat, Madam Chair, written ba kung oral? Tang oral kung minsan nagbabaguman.
Okay, Honorable Del Castillo, thank you. Next item. Yaong pati sa likod
Letter
po ang
dated July
administrator.
4, 2022, Bisano de City Mayor, submitting the the appointment of the city administrator and city legal officer of the city for confirmation of the Sangguniang Panlungsod.
Honorable Del Castillo.
Scrutinize the document submitted in connection with the appointment of former Councilor Elmer Baldimoro together with Attorney MacGyver Gerald Urbina. So unless there are clarificatory questions from my colleagues, if there is none, I will make now the formal motion. So since there are no more clarificatory questions, Madam Chair, by virtue of Section 458 of the Local Government Code and by virtue of the powers vested in the Sangguniang Panlungsod in the Mayor, I move that we pass a resolution confirming the appointment of Mr. Elmer S. Baldimoro as City Administrator. And another resolution, Madam Chair, confirming the appointment of Attorney MacGyver Gerald S. Urbina as City Legal Officer, they having been complied with all the requirements of Section 480 of the Local Government Code as far as the City Administrator is concerned, and Section 481 of the Local Government Code as far as the City Legal Officer is concerned. So move, Madam Chair.
Any second? Okay, approve. Congratulations, Mr. Elmer Baldimoro, our new city administrator and our city legal officer. Congratulations. Next item.
Letter dated July 5, 2022, Bisano de City Mayor, respectfully submitting the names of city government officials seeking authority to be granted to the for signing authority, endorsement of negotiation
check,
checks
signing
and
of
accounts
checks,
with existing
signatory.
depository banks of the City Government of Naga.
Honorable Albers.
Passage of a resolution authorizing the following individuals: City Mayor Nelson Legacion, City Vice Mayor Cecilia Velus de Asis, City Administrator Elmer S. Baldimoro, Assistant City Administrator Jose Coyo Jr., Acting City Treasurer Maria Socorro Gayanilo, and Local Revenue Collection Officer for Maria Cecilia Bacollo, to sign for and on behalf of the City Government of Naga concerning withdrawals from endorsement of negotiations of checks and accounts with existing depository banks of the City Government. On joint and collective motion, Madam Chair.
On joint and collective motion, approve. Next item.
Proposed resolution authored by Honorable Mary Kyle Francine B. Tripulca, a resolution urging the Department of Interior and Local Government, the Department of Budget and Management, the Commission on Elections, and the National Youth Commission to expedite the necessary implementing rules and regulations within 60 days upon the effectivity of Republic Act 11768, which amend RA 10742, otherwise known as the Sangguniang Kabataan Reform Act of 2015.
Honorable Tripulca.
Thank you, Madam Chair. One of the salient provisions and introduced reforms to the SK of RA 11768 is the grant of honoraria and other benefits such as social welfare contributions and hazard pay for SK leaders. SK members, including SK Treasurer and Secretary, shall receive a monthly honorarium chargeable against the SK funds and it should be granted every regular monthly meeting of the SK. Not more than 25% of the SK funds shall be allocated for personal services, and the monthly compensation shall not exceed the monthly compensation received by the SK chairperson. Section 16 also states that the LGUs may provide additional honorarium through their own local ordinances. And in the case of the city, Madam Chair, we already passed ordinance number 2019-021, providing for the strengthening and empowering of SK through the grant of honoraria prior to the said national legislature. Section 17 of 11768 states that the act shall take effect 15 days after its publication in the official gazette or any newspaper of general circulation. The COMELEC also, Madam Chair, has already released that the barangay and SK elections will resume on December 5, 2022. And then the voters registration already commenced this July 4 to 23. With that, Madam Chair, we only have a few days left before the given period for the IRR to be released. That's why I am passing this resolution, urging the DILG, the DBM, and the COMELEC, and the NYC to expedite the necessary IRR of RA 11768, which amends RA 10742, otherwise known as the SK Reform Act of 2015.
Any second to the motion? Second, approve. Next item.
Letter dated June 29, 2022 of Attorney MacGyver Gerald S. Arbina.
Unfinished business, garo yan. Bako yan, SBO.
Unfinished business, item number 1. The letter dated June 29, 2022 of Attorney MacGyver S. Arbina. Explain the amount to be used, which is to be used for the purchase of the properties of Mr. Bienvenido Novello, Alfredo C. Baron, Rogelio B. Federio, the heirs of Ebelio A. Sabater, and the heirs of Lebio A. Ulan will be coming from the loan secured from the Development Bank of the Philippines. The city accountant did not issue a certificate of fund availability.
This was taken up during the last 13th Sangguniang Panlungsod, wherein we asked the certificate of fund availability. Honorable Del Castillo? Yes, itong ano.
Purchase of some property for our housing program, Madam Chair. And I'm just not sure whether it is still pending with the Committee on Housing and Settlement or it was already to be acted upon by the plenary. So maybe we can ask the new chair of the Committee on Housing and Settlement on that particular matter.
Okay. Honorable Rosales? Pero
If I remember it correctly, Madam Chair, there is a pending request for an ordinance for the passage of an ordinance exercising the power of eminent domain. May we confirm that with our city legal officer, Madam Chair? So may I move for the suspension of the rules?
Okay. Rules are suspended. Attorney Urbina?
Good morning, Your Honor, Madam Chair. Yes, this is in relation to the request of the City Mayor for the enactment of an ordinance authorizing him to institute an expropriation proceedings against Baron et al., Madam Chair. We have already sent offers to purchase their property and sadly they refused the same. That is why we are left with no other choice but to expropriate this property so that we may use them for our socialized housing projects, Your Honors, please.
Honorable Rosales?
As Madam Chair, if we have the draft ordinance for the exercise of the power of eminent domain,
we do not have a draft ordinance, Madam Chair.
I I remembered in the last session during the committee report, ini po si kulang. That's why the Honorable Arroyo recommended that we do not pass such ordinance because of the absence of the availability of the certification from the budget office as to the availability of funds. Pero ngayon na igwa na po, the deficiency was already cured. But since there is no ordinance yet being presented to us for approval, I think we could just wait for it first.
This will be first next session?
Ikaw po kaya, Madam Chair, tighagad na ordinansa, kaya lang none is being presented to us yet, unless there was already one presented before.
During the housing. I think this was referred to the Committee on Housing. And the Honorable Arroyo was asking the city legal officer then sa certificate funds availability. Tayo na lang ang kulang.
Okay. My point, Madam Chair, is that we are being requested for the passage of an ordinance for the Sangguniang
Authorizing the
Panlungsod to
city
approve.
mayor, yes.
But I don't think we can approve something if it's not being presented to us yet.
Do you have any draft of the ordinance?
None, Your Honor. Per my experience, Your Honor, we have not submitted any draft ordinance before the Sanggunian when we request for an enactment of expropriation ordinance. We merely ask that we be granted the authority, and after the same is granted, we are furnished with the copy of the ordinance, Madam Chair.
Because usually it's referred to a committee. So the committee is the one proposing for the ordinance, for the passage of an ordinance, right?
Yes, Madam Chair.
So yan, okay, Honorable Del Castillo.
Volunteer to draft the ordinance to be submitted on
So we approve
the next
this.
regular session. Yes.
So you make the motion if you're going to.
So with the concurrence of the chair of the Committee on Housing Settlement.
This was already taken up during the last and I remember ito lang ang kulang eh. Honorable Rosales.
The reason, Madam Chair, is that ang ordinansa po ba kaya would have to take 3 readings prior to approval.
Yes.
So given that we are already a new Sangguniang Panlungsod, also in consideration that this was already taken up at the committee level, we should at least be presented with an ordinance for approval, if not on second reading.
Okay, Honorable Del Castillo.
Yes, actually, Madam Chair, I am just volunteering to draft the ordinance, and it will be submitted to the plenary.
So we defer this temporarily, or
maybe on the next
next
regular
session?
session.
On the next session.
Baka
Okay.
tayo na makahabol ngunyan.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Del Castillo. Honorable Del Rosario.
May oras pa man kita, what we need is a draft of the proposed ordinance. Yung material data nandyan man eh, ipoform mo lang. So I think we should defer this only, and we ask for the draft na pwedeng i-prepare kang sa tuyong matibay na lawyer. Para ma-aprobahan ta na eh.
So we defer this
We did
temporarily
that.
and discuss
Yes,
baka pwedeng ma-draft tulos yan. So this matter is deferred temporarily and we wait for the draft of the ordinance.
Thank
Next
you, Madam
item.
Chair.
Thank you, Attorney Orvina. Gibuhan na tulos. Ay, Honorable Ranyola. Okay, break. Okay, ano na nila. Iyupigyan mo na yan ni Miles ka ito.